Danny Flexon here for SecondsOut. I'd like to be joined by my good friend Johnny Fisher. Johnny, how you doing, mate?
Danny, I'm good, mate. Great to see you again. How are you?
I'm very good. We've just finished a tough workout. A lot of these people go through the motions when they have media workouts. None of that for you. You were really going for it. Lengthy, hard workout for you.
Quite going through the motions still because we've got a bit of sparring tomorrow. But yeah, only 4 rounds on the pads, but quite sharp ones, which is good. But yeah, looking forward to sparring tomorrow. A bit of running Saturday, and then Sunday, my favourite day, so get to have a little rest.
Now, you always train really hard, but this is going to be your first title fight as a pro. Do you feel like you've stepped it up in any way, or at least in your mindset?
I spoke to Mark, and he said you don't have to do anything different. Yeah, we'll spar a few more rounds, but if anything, I've got to relax a little bit more. I'm fit enough. I'm super fit. It's about your mindset, as you said. You've got to make sure you stay relaxed, stay calm. It's 10 rounds, but it's 30 minutes of work. If you told me to do 30 minutes running around a football pitch, I'll probably be able to do it. So it's the same sort of thing.
You've probably been asked when you're ready for title contention so many times over the last couple of years. How relieved are you that you can now say, yeah, I'm going in for a title next time?
It's not really a relief because I don't hold myself to the expectations of others, really. I do what I've got to do. But yeah, it's nice to give something to the fans, something else to look forward to, that next bit of logical step on the journey. And I think it's about time that we're ready for a little step up.
With your own expectations, as you just mentioned, have you been kind of chomping at the bit, saying to Mark and to Eddie, come on, I want to be out for a title, I'm ready?
Not really. I've been listening to Mark and listening to Jimmy Tibbs and Eddie and Matchroom and SJ and the people I've got around me because they're the ones with the experience. I listen to my dad as well. And yeah, I've just got to keep doing what I'm doing. My job is to train. My job is to keep progressing in the gym. And my team around me will guide me in the right direction.
Now, you've got a tough challenge on a big bill as well. What do you think about the spotlight? It's not something you're unaccustomed to. Do you think that maybe favours you a little bit, that you're used to these big shows?
And then if anything, I'll probably be on a bit earlier as well. So normally I'm fighting chief support and got the pressure of that as well. But it's just another fight. And I've been in enough of them fights where I'm fighting in front of 3,000-4,000 people before. I'll be ready for this as well.
Harry Armstrong, good solid fighter. We saw him recently against Jamie TKV, gave him a good tussle. Have you seen that fight? And if so, what did you make of his performance?
Someone asked me that before. I haven't watched it, but I've sparred Harry Armstrong, and I know he's tough. I know he's durable. He's a good boxer. Got good fast hands, a respectful guy as well. And yeah, it's going to be a good, honest contest, and we're going to give it 110%.
Is it at all a concern when you go in with someone competitively that you've sparred in the past that you can fall into that mentality of not really having the bit between your teeth, not wanting to hurt them?
I've only sparred 4 rounds and I'm always looking to do damage, so I might be a nice guy and be a gentle, try and act like a gentleman outside the ring, but when I'm in that ring, I'm looking to do damage, so yeah, that's the only thing on my mind.
And assuming it all goes your way, and obviously you hope it does, people will then be talking about you in the mix for English, maybe even British title. What do you make of that? Do you feel ready for further steps up almost immediately?
Listen, I'll fight anyone. If the price is right and Eddie's the man next to me, will make sure that is, I'll fight anyone. But I'm also aware that there's a process, and there's a process you have to go through. I spoke to Barry Hearn a couple of days ago when I saw him at an event where he was at, and he said, yeah, you might want to do that, or you might want to go the international route and get some international titles. But the only thing that matters on my mind at the minute is Harry Armstrong, day and night, thinking about Harry Armstrong beating him. That's the only thing that matters. Because if I don't beat him, there is no fighting for English or British titles. I've just got to win on the 12th of August first.
You're someone who clearly respects the generation that came before. You work closely with Jimmy Tibbs. You just mentioned getting advice from Barry Hearn there as well. What do you think they bring in that's kind of additional to your development?
It's no bullshit, basically. They tell you the truth. Jimmy Tibbs, if I'm doing something wrong, he'll tell me the truth, which is what you want. You want honesty. Mark Tibbs is like that as well, and Sonny Cannon and Barry Hearn. I saw Eddie talking on Piers Morgan the other day, and he said his dad brought him up with the whole mentality of winning is everything. Yeah, I might be a little bit different. If you lose, you lose. Yeah, you chin up, you keep going, but we all love to win, and it's great to be around winners like Jimmy Tibbs and Barry Hearn.
Now, I know you're not thinking past Harry Armstrong, but the British title is likely to be decided now between Fabio Wardley and David Adelaide after all the issues with Fraser Clarke, who I know you spent some time with yesterday. What do you make of that fight? Who do you see coming out on top?
I've sparred Fabio countless times as well. I'm a good mate of Fabio's as well. I hope he can get the win in that fight. I think he's the one at the top of the tree. Obviously, he's the British champion at the minute, and he's the one they're all picking to. They're trying to get up there and challenge. So I hope he can come through and win that fight. But there's a great little mix there. You've got Fabio, Fraser, David Adelaide, Solomon Dakers. There's a good little mix there, and yeah, it's a good, exciting time to be a British heavyweight.
Did you speak to Fraser at all when you caught up with him yesterday in Loughborough about the situation with Wardley? Because it seemed like he took a lot of stick for something that was largely out of his control.
Yeah, I didn't delve too much into it, but whatever had happened or whatever didn't happen, I think it's worked out well because he got a good round under his belt with Mariusz Wach, who I've sparred, and trust me, he's very, very tough. He keeps coming forward like a big ball of meat, just keep walking at you. So he's got that experience under his belt, and he might be a little bit older, but there is no rush. And he's got to get a couple more fights under his belt. I hear he's got an exciting one coming up. I'm not sure who it is, but that'll be perfect for him.
Would you like a couple like that, kind of big foreign names that you know are going to stick around?
I don't want anyone to stick around. I'd rather knock them out straight away. But it's good. Especially, it's more so for Fraser, I think, in his position. The experience he's got to fight an experienced name like that. Mariusz Wach's a great fighter. He's been in with some of the top names like Dillian Whyte, Povetkin, Klitschko. So a great name for Fraser to get under his list.
I was listening to you on the George Groves Boxing Club podcast a couple of weeks ago. Really good interview on there. And it was all about building a fan base and how you've managed to do that so far. Now you're going on even bigger shows, going up in the levels yourself as well. How do you take that fan base to the next level? Will it just happen organically, or is there stuff you need to do now?
Well, I think it's all happened organically anyway. Like, I know my Big John's been a massive help as well. My brother started filming him out of the blue, eating Chinese and eating food, and they just started going viral. But I think where I'm from in Romford and Essex, people get behind each other. You think about Kevin Mitchell, you think about the footballers we've got around here. A good friend of mine, Freddie Potts, and Adji Elise, plays for Sunderland and West Ham. Everyone gets behind each other, and if I keep being myself, keep being honest and organic, as I go up the levels, it will keep growing, hopefully.
We appreciate the honesty, and as you're a heavyweight, I'm going to ask you about some other heavyweight happenings. We've got Daniel Dubois going out to Poland in a couple of weeks, currently hard at work in Spain, I believe, in camp. What do you make of his challenge to Oleksandr Usyk?
He's got a puncher's chance for sure, and he's a big old solid unit. Trust me, I've been in with Daniel Dubois. He can seriously whack. When he's jab hits you, it's like a right hand hitting you, and you don't want that right hand to come and hit you either. So, listen, we saw what Chisora done to Usyk early on, and Dubois is a fresher, bigger version of Chisora in many ways. Not the same fighter, but obviously that physicality that he brings, it's going to be a tough ask for Usyk. But you obviously going with Usyk as a favourite, but don't rule Daniel Dubois completely out. We've seen stranger things happen.
Is there any name UK heavyweight you haven't sparred?
I haven't sparred Joshua. I haven't sparred Dillian Whyte. Who else is there? You got any names thinking in your head?
Well, they were the two, I think.
Joshua and Whyte.
Fury, obviously.
Yeah, I haven't sparred either of them.
Well, I'm still going to ask your opinion on their fight. Obviously, big rematch on the same show as you. Obviously, a lot of your fans will see you as the main event, but the actual main event on DAZN is obviously that one. What do you make of this rematch?
First of all, it's a privilege to be on a card like this. I remember watching the first one when I was just finishing my GCSE, starting my A-levels, and I was a boxing fan. I was just... Yeah, I know, I feel old now as well, but just a privilege to be on the card. I want Joshua to win. I like Dillian Whyte as well. I'm a fan of both, but when Anthony Joshua does well, the whole of British boxing's doing well. I remember at university, the crowds that just kept coming and turning up for the boxing classes as Joshua was doing well. So he's a great advert for boxing, a great role model for many people. So I hope he gets the win.
Was Dillian not still here then when you first started with Mark?
I think he just left Mark, and it just worked out. Like, I live 10-15 minutes away from Origin Gym. I live in Gideon Park, just round the corner. And it just worked brilliantly. Mark Tibbs, he's one of our own sort of thing. You know, he's from Canning Town. My family's all from Stepney, and we've just got a great understanding. He's a top man, and I'm really enjoying being here.
I'm from Stepney, by the way. Yeah.
My dad's born and bred in Stepney, and my granddad's from there as well. So small world.
Sounds like a conversation I used to have with your dad. I had no idea. Another heavyweight fight, and I say the word fight specifically because it's not a boxing match necessarily, is Tyson Fury, who you know well, and Francis Ngannou, a UFC legend, I think you'd say. What do you make of that? I mean, it's hard to blame Tyson for taking the biggest money available, but can it be competitive?
Of course he can. I've seen, we've all heard the stories of Ngannou, the biggest punch in history or something like that. I don't know how true that is, but he can definitely whack. I've seen him spar. No, I don't either. But he sparred Joe Joyce. I've seen them two go at it, and listen, you can see the levels even between Joe Joyce and Ngannou. There's no doubt Fury is a superior boxer, probably a superior fighter, but there's always a puncher's chance. I said about Dubois and Usyk, and I guarantee you, people are moaning about it, but people are going to still tune in to watch that fight. And fair play to both guys, who are going to make millions of pounds.
And just last of all, what can fans expect to see when they tune in to see you against Harry Armstrong on this big show?
You're going to see a good, honest fight between two good, honest blokes. I'm going to make sure that I win. That's the bottom line. No matter how it comes, whether that's a stoppage win, a split decision, winning is everything, and that's all I'm aiming on doing.
Do you want to leave your standard sign-off?
Danny Flexen, seconds out. Bosh.
Cheers, mate.